Alrighty, today we're going to be talking about area. Now this is probably going to be a review for a lot of you guys, so if you know it, that's awesome. Just follow along and make sure you have / are writing down the formulas for the different figures we're going to be talking about. So we're going to start with triangles. Remember that is a three-sided figure. Okay, the area of a triangle is found multiplying 1/2 times your base times your height. Okay, sometimes you may see that written as base times height divided by 2. Either way, it's going to be the same exact value. So if we look at a triangle, if this is 4 and this is 5, the way we're going to find our area is 1/2, our base is 5, our height is 4, and then we just multiply. Okay, 1/2, 5 times 4, well, 5 and 4 is 20, times 1/2, that's going to be 10. If this was centimeters, it's going to be 10 centimeters squared. Okay, your area means that your unit is always going to be squared, because it's one dimension times another. Okay, next we're going to talk about parallelograms. Remember, the 3 types of parallelograms we have are squares, rhombus or rhombi, a rectangle, and just a parallelogram itself. Doesn't necessarily have to be either of those 3. Okay, so we're going to do an example of all of them. So if we start with, I guess our area is what we need first. You can always find area using base times height. Okay, for squares, we know that the base and the height are going to be the same thing, so that's actually going to be side squared. For a rhombus, the sides are the same, but one of the sides isn't necessarily the height, so that one's just going to be base times height. Rectangle, sometimes you'll see it as length times width. So those are the different things you might see, but all that goes back to base times height. So if we have a square, we know that all 4 sides are 4 centimeters. We're going to say the area is 4 squared. Area is going to be 16 centimeters squared. If we have a rhombus, if we know that our base is 5, our height, again, our height's not a side, it's from the top to the bottom. So maybe that height is 4. Our area is going to be 5 times 4, which is just 20. If this was inches, it would be 20 inches squared. And then for our rectangle, if we have a base of 12 and a height of 4, our area is base times height. 12 times 4. 48, we'll call it feet. So 48 feet squared. So those are our parallelograms. Then we're going to start with continue on with a trapezoid. The area of a trapezoid is 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times your height. So with a trapezoid, maybe it'll look something like this. Sometimes it could be isosceles, sometimes it's not. It doesn't really matter as long as you know your base value and your height. Well, I guess both bases. So if this is 10 and this is 3 and this is 4, we're going to say 1/2 base 1 is 10 or 3. Okay, we add our bases and then we multiply it by our height. So we're going to go ahead and just show our order of operations. We have 13 times 4. All right, 1/2, doing this in my head, 1/2 times 4 is going to be 2. 2 times 13 is 26. I keep forgetting to put the units. If all of these are meters, it's going to be 26 meters squared. Okay, we type that in our calculator as well, and we can still get 26. So we have triangles, parallelograms, trapezoids. We still have kites and circles. I'm going to go ahead and flip the page. All right, a kite, the area is 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Okay, so what that looks like, a kite has 2 sets of congruent sides. The diagonals are what connects the two, or the opposite vertex. So if our height here, I'm gonna write really tiny, sorry, I can zoom up, maybe. If our height here is 8, and this, or sorry, diagonal, if this diagonal is 8, and this diagonal is 4, okay, our formula is gonna look like this, 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Okay, 8 times 4 times 1/2. So what that gives us, 1/2 times 8 is 4, 4 times 4, we got 16. Whatever the units are going to be squared. And then lastly, we have circles. The area of a circle is pi r squared. Okay, remember that r represents the radius, which is half of the diameter. So sometimes you may be given the radius, sometimes you may be given the diameter. Either way, this formula will still work. So we have, pretend that's a circle, not an egg. Okay, if our radius is, let's say 8. Okay, we're gonna say pi times r, which is 8 squared. So our area is 64 pi. Okay, this is your exact answer. If sometimes Khan Academy, whatever assignment you're working on, asks for the exact answer, that's using the pi symbol. Okay, it's in terms of pi, it is the most exact. If it wants an estimated answer or an approximate answer, we would multiply 64 times pi. Remember, pi is 3.14, goes on forever, it is an irrational number. Okay, but if we plug that in our calculator, 64 times pi, we get 201.1. Okay, we'll say this is centimeters, so it's going to be centimeters squared. If you're given your diameter, the only thing you have to do, ooh, that one's a better circle. If we knew our diameter was 20 meters, what that would look like in our formula, remember that r is your radius, we're going to say our diameter divided by 2. So 20 divided by 2 gives us a radius of 10. Okay, so again, it's the same process. 10 squared is 100, so we have 100 pi. That's our exact answer. Or plug it in your calculator. 100 times pi is going to give you 314.1. Actually 0.2 because it rounds. 314.2. Okay, I guess a key for the different letters we used. A is for area, B is for base, H is for height, D is for diagonal, S is for side, L is for length, W is for width, let's see, R is for the radius. I believe that's all the different letters we used. So yeah, I guess it might help you guys to see that. Okay, so again, with area, you guys have been doing this for a while now. Even throughout the year, we've done a lot of these different types of formulas. So you should be able to get this. Just label your parts, plug in what you know. Should be easy breezy. So let us know if you have questions.